the Popsicle Index is the percent of people in a community who believe a child can leave their home, go to the nearest place to buy a popsicle, and come home alone safely. So, for example, when I was a little girl growing up in West Philadelphia before the drugs and the HUD fraud, the Popsicle Index was 100%. It was unthinkable that it wasn't safe for a child to just, go anywhere, do anything. And what I found was that there was a direct correlation between the value of an equity in a place and the extent to which everybody felt safe. And so the highest tests are the children safe. If the Popsicle Index is 100% in a place, then there's a kind of intimacy through which knowledge and learning can go free. There's a freedom of creativity and expression that can't happen. So it was a short form way of capturing the health and the learning metabolism in a place. And what I discovered is the higher the Popsicle Index, the stronger the value of the equity. So for example, when I talk about, if you and I went to a community where there was a very low Popsicle Index, we created a mutual fund for that community. And then after we all had bought equity in that community, we got the Popsicle Index to go up to 100%, we'd all be fantastically wealthy. And so what I realized was the single most important thing that I as the FHA commissioner could do to get the FHA fund back on an actuarially sound basis was to get the Popsicle Index to go up in communities across America. And so then that led to the next question, is what's causing the Popsicle Index to go down? And one of the biggest things I discovered then that was causing the Popsicle Index to go down was government investment. Literally, if we took all government investment and just got it, if HUD just stopped spending money in communities and left, their economies would improve. And that's when I realized we got a negative return on investment. Let me give you an example. A very common picture of a rural community in America is you have drugs coming in, you have the war on drugs, and then you have a variety of medical activities that feed off of drugs and the war on drugs. So for example, you'll have a psychiatric institute, and if you study all the various things they're really doing, you've got a whole lot of professional people, and you're building buildings, and it's a fantastically big money, and it all depends on a couple people needing drug rehab. So if they stop taking drugs, the psychiatrists would all get laid off. So between the war on drugs, the ancillary medical stuff, and then all the different vendors and the restaurants and the banks and everything, you have a fantastic amount of people making money from pushing drugs on kids, arresting kids. Then the big one that I've written about is private prisons. And so you're paying a whole economy of people to do something that makes them stupider and less productive. So the learning metabolism in the place is cycling down. For example, you're paying a whole bunch of people to sit in prison, and you're paying a whole other group of people to watch the people in prison. So you've got an entire economy that's getting stupider and stupider and stupider. And it's a negative return on investment. It could never happen unless government was facilitating it by raising taxes and then spending taxes on things that do that. So, and literally, as all those things happen, the Popsicle Index goes down. Let's take the Popsicle Index when it was 100% in most communities in America. When I was a little girl, the Popsicle Index is 100% West Philadelphia. The Dow Jones during the 50s was, say, 150 to 500. So the Dow Jones has gone up 6,000%, and the Popsicle Index in my old neighborhood has gone down to almost 10%. So you literally have the Popsicle Index going down, 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 at the same time that you have the Dow going up, up, up. And what we're watching is a metaphor for financial capital doing better and better and better, while living capital is doing worse and worse and worse. And so we're literally seeing a financial system where there is a win-lose relationship between money and life. And so literally we're all being asked to make choices between our financial security and the life and health of our planet, our family, of ourselves.